Well, welcome everyone back to Ron Guns Art and Fitness. Last time we left off, unfortunately, I didn't get to do the second video like I wanted to, but that's okay. I'm giving you one just for this week. Last week, we spoke about how I got so massive to 385, 390. I had discussed about how I started dropping the weight, letting go of junk food, letting go of soda, all the junky stuff I had a bad habit of eating on a regular. This also included that occasional trip to all-you-can-eat buffet that used to be near Woodhull Hospital, which is no longer there, last I checked. And then I ended 2008, around 350, 365 compared to the 385, 390 that I was at in the beginning and the middle of that year. So, baby steps, but, we're moving in that direction. And of course, just to quickly summarize, I was exercising at least 5 days a week. Most of my training at first was mostly machines and cables, along with a lot of cardio. And cardio at that location that I was training at, mostly treadmills, ellipticals. Didn't really hop on the spin bike, didn't really care for it in that way. But now we're shifting into 2009 in this video. So in this one, yeah, even this shirt's loose on me now. What can I do? In 2009, things kind of changed a little. I had changed locations of the gym company I was working for. So I went from training at the location in Midwood to the establishment over on 72nd and 3rd in Bay Ridge. So I went from Midwood to Bay Ridge. It was a much smoother commute from Williamsburg compared to going from Williamsburg to Midwood. Which would normally be going from Williamsburg to downtown Brooklyn to Midwood, but the commute sometimes on the way back was always complicated. In the case of going from Williamsburg to Bay Ridge, it was actually a shorter trip, and if I were a betting man right now, when I go to visit Brooklyn next month, it's probably going to be an even shorter trip. But having said that, 2009, I ended up wrapping it up at around 316, 325. In this case, the differences in my training approach, I was still doing 5 days a week, mainly because, surprise, I was working 5 days a week at the gym, so go figure. But now that I was getting a better grip on things, especially with dealing with free weights and with the barbells and dumbbells and everything, things started changing up a bit, right? So I was already learning how to do the deadlift, how to do the squat, how to be better with the bench. And the thing with that is, back in high school, again, Smith machines, universal machines, I didn't start learning the concept of a barbell until 2004, at that time in high school. As I had mentioned, when I first started weightlifting and everything, in my first in-depth video that I made on this channel. So I was getting more comfortable with that, and the gym I was working at, once upon a time, it used to be a bingo hall. For those of you who are from New York City, are familiar with Bay Ridge, you probably know the gym I'm talking about, and you know exactly where it's at, and the silly things are right next to it. And by that I mean Rite Aid, McDonald's, and a Tex-Mex joint right next to it, as well as, unless it's shut down, a fuel food bar where you had different subs, shakes, and what have you, just so that you had some food in your stomach before you were training or after, which they were pretty good. So again, now my approach was more of a AMRAP drop. So AMRAP meaning as many reps as possible. So usually I would start at just the bar, or just the lowest weight I can think of, and rep it out until I can't anymore. And then literally my only break time was swapping the weights. That was my break time. And then as soon as I got to as high as I possibly could, Ain't over yet, Sonny. You going down. So we were dropping. So it was like, okay. So for example, on the bench, I'll finish up maybe, let's say, 185, right? Let's just say. It's like, oh, great, congratulations, Ron. You managed to finish up at maybe just one rep of 185 at the time. Guess what, son? Now you're going down to 175 and you're just going to rep as many as possible. And then lower and lower. And of course your reps are going to increase more because your load is going to decrease. But the point was wearing your butt down to where you just couldn't anymore. By then I was drenched in sweat. And similar to when I was at the first location where I met Remsen, I was training with my Uncle Rex, my cousin Lewis, Shawnee, among others, and Scott Losh, Jonesy, just to name a few. Over in 2009 at the location I was at, I met Caesar, and this was actually the gym location where the name Ron Guns was given to me. And at that time, it was like everyone was just messing around trying to figure out a nickname that would stick on me. You had Ron Love, you had Mr. Love, you had Dr. Love, Professor Love, you had Ron Funds, you had Ronnie Ron. That was Cesar Gonzalez, one of the trainers that slapped me with that one. And then there was Tyrone Moore, who's an independent trainer now at this point. He was the one that gave me Ron Guns, and it stuck. It simply did. It was like one of those things. It was like, yeah, that's my nickname. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one I'm rolling with. It works well. And the main reason I was given that nickname was because my arm stuck out like a sore thumb at the time. And just to really get in on it, I've never been one to really obsessively work on my arms for size. They just stuck out like a sore thumb at the time. So again, that is where I was involved with my training style. When it came to cardio, however, there was more variation. Yes, I still would do high intensity intervals, going from like a comfortable, relaxing, cool down phase to as fast as I could go down, up, down, up, down, down, left, right. However, whatever makes you comfortable. There's no square, X, triangle, circle. So, yeah, that, you had the ellipticals, you had the Stairmaster of Doom, as I call it. But my favorite form of cardio that I used for conditioning was the heavy bag. We had it, we had gloves. I walk into that group exercise room when it was empty and slug the living crap out of it. Hands down. That was my way of just letting it out. And the fun part too, and it was part resistance as well, was the fact that we had a tire. An actual tire. And we'd flip it. And then we had these weight bars. They were part of the group exercise class. I would use it akin to using a hammer to slam a tire with. So I'd incorporate that into my program also, just for variance, just for a little more fun into my training, right? The one thing I didn't get to talk about about my journey in 2008 that I'm actually going to bring up now is supplementation. At this present time, I rarely use supplements. Like, I'll tell you right now, the only supplement I would normally use, citrulline malate. That's it. And the reason being is that it helps produce more arginine and more nitric oxide in the blood and in your bloodstream more efficiently than just getting arginine itself. Because when you get the arginine supplement itself, it usually has to go through your stomach, and a lot of times when you have arginine straight, sometimes they can mess with your stomach a little. It can make you feel uneasy. Whereas citrulline actually goes through your kidneys instead, so it goes through your system faster. It goes into your bloodstream a lot quicker, and as a result, again, if you Google up some studies, citrulline does help produce more nitric oxide than just getting arginine by itself. And in turn with that, you get more blood flow, which means you feel more swole, and you can keep at it even better. Your cardio work's going to be more fun. You're gonna have more blood just going in there. When you're hitting the weights, the pump's gonna feel nicer. Point blank, no crazy side effects, except for maybe, you know, little discomfort in certain areas that are otherwise pleasurable. But at the time, when I was starting in 2008, you know, I was surrounded by a bunch of guys, you know, that were doing different stuff. I'm talking like pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout, protein powders, creatine, you name it. I'll be honest with you. I tried a crap ton of pre-workouts, probably more than a junkie would ever try drug experimentation. From Juggernaut to NO Explode to Dark Rage, which, by the way, MHS, I think is the name of the company. They discontinued that a while ago. Jack 3D, you name it, I have tried it. Even like some post-workout stuff, like Anabolic Halo for Muscle Tech or whatever, which was nice and all, but again, things that, you know, for the common person like you and me, you don't really need it. Honestly, and this is where I can actually go from experience, if you're getting what you need out of your food, and you're eating the right food, you won't have to worry about so much supplementation up the wazoo. You don't really need all of that. However, sometimes, you know, you just need to get up and go and get something. So sometimes, hey, I would go for a protein shake. Plain and simple. So didn't matter what brand it was or whatever. I could get my hands on it. If it was 2, 3 pounds, 5 pounds or whatever, as long as it was something to keep it handy, hey, that was part of everything that came with me. Is it a end-all, be-all for your daily living, for, you know, just to take care of yourself? Yes and no. Sometimes you need it because you got to get up on the go. You don't have time to cook, yada, yada. Get it, got it. But if you're taking the time to look at the food that in your fridge and in your pantry, and you're looking and you're seeing what you need, and you have what you need required for your body to function in order for it to grow properly and to move and function properly, more often than not, you won't need to have so much supplementation. That's really what it comes down to on that. In turn, yeah, I ended up all the way down to 316, 325. Again, unlike 10 years later, which is today, I did not have a smartphone. I did not have my MyFitnessPal or Chronometer to find out, you know, the value of each food, to value, you know, to find out, you know, the macros and micros, all that, to really find out what was being put into my body. If we had that back then, chances are our conversation right now would be different. However, 2009 was 2009. This is just how things were rolling for me. For 2009, this is literally all there is to talk about. Okay, as far as eating at home, again, the fried food was beginning to get more of a minimum. Broccoli was becoming more of a friend. I actually started enjoying spinach for the first time. Sweet potato, I was finally taking a liking to it. Because again, as I may have discussed in my first video, vegetables were not a thing for me. Like, I just couldn't stand the taste of it, whatever. I don't know why. I guess I was like a lot of kids where, you know, vegetables, yeah. For me, eventually around 2009, I was just becoming more open with my veggies. All of a sudden I was like, why didn't I eat sweet potato before? Why didn't I eat my broccoli before? Why was I constantly dodging asparagus? You know? But that's what was going on. And eventually, well, as I started developing a healthier lifestyle while having this level of consistent training, taste buds started changing. My attitude towards certain foods began to change. So things, you know, they kind of just rolled as I went with everything. So having said that, I'm ending this video right here. Any questions and comments, feel free to comment down below on the video. If you're enjoying the content I'm providing, feel free to smash the like button, press subscribe, Press the notification bell. That way, in case if you want to see when my next video pops up, as soon as I put up a new video, it'll be right there. Alright, Guns Crew, have a good one. Peace.